What's up, traders? Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com. And what a crazy FOMC day. Not exactly the way in which I thought kind of all this was going to play out today. But nonetheless here, what I do think we have going on is a little bit of a pullback. So, and by a little bit of a pullback, obviously we got a pretty decent move. Yesterday, 17,566s. To today down here to 17, call it 266s. For easy math, we got a 300-point pullback here from yesterday into today. And, again, we had big news on some Google names, some AMD names. And I think the earnings, I want to touch on these earnings and make a full thing and kind of the thought process there. But they're weird. They're just really, really weird right now. So what I am actually going to do, I'm going to keep this video nice and short and sweet here, but I do have a video plan that is going to be really, really important that I put out here over the next couple of days, just about the market action in which we're starting to see and what I think that's going to lead into for this year. I touched on it a little bit the other night on Sunday night in the mentorship chat. We were just on voice with some of them, just kind of chatting it up. And we'll go back and we'll pull up some charts from previous years and kind of what that looks like and what I think this year's ultimately going to look like as well. But it's tough right here because we see something like Microsoft, right? This thing, for the most part was relatively flat here coming into earnings, but it's had a pretty decent rally over the last couple of weeks here, of course. Gets an aggressive move off the open here. Right, we opened at 407s, we rally up to 415s, and what's interesting is we just leave this 416.11, this high here from the earnings, just kind of left. Right, it doesn't really get tested. We should have probably popped this extra 80 cents here and just tagged that level. That would make sense. If we had done what we did today, but got that pre-market level and did the thing, then okay, cool, that would make some sense. FFIV here, this kind of did the same thing. This had a massive spike to the upside, trading up here at 213s. I was really looking at this yesterday, initially here out of the gate and kind of going, okay, this might want to have a pretty decent run, right? I mean, this first 2-minute bar is okay, that's kind of cool. Let's see if we can rally up to 213s. And then the very next bar just gets erased, right? So we don't get any sort of entry, we don't get any sort of trigger into this, and obviously it just holds that downtrend the rest of the day there. So yeah, it's been a really oddball kind of earnings season here, and with that, one of the names in which we looked at yesterday here that I thought was potentially going to be something to the downside here was going to be AMD, right? We talked about under 156.50. Then this thing really gets interesting to the downside, which again, same thing out of Google, but it managed to hold 164.72s really well today. So we ultimately stepped in, picked up some 177.5 calls here for this week, and I have the level up here at 177.42s that I think can trade out of this. So we picked those up for right at 42 cents here. At the highs today of 171, these things were right at 100%. That was posted up on my Instagram channel, the chat channel there inside of Instagram. I don't even know what that thing's called. This is called MLT Market Hours. But yeah, so again, kind of a weird flip of events here where this thing was actually holding relatively well. Considering, what the overall markets were doing here, and it actually looks like it wants to, kind of get that pop up towards 177.42s, which would be, that would be nice tomorrow. So we're getting a little bit of a push here in after hours here to the upside, about $1 and change we've pushed so far. But again, under 164.72s, then we'll be erasing this green bar for the most part on the daily chart. And then from there, we're pretty much a straight shot to 156.50s. And given the weirdness in which I've seen from these earnings so far, I'm not I'm not ruling that out as a possibility either, right? I'm not married to this position. It's a small lotto size position. And the big reason behind that just is I'm not finding and seeing the trades in which I normally would like to take this week so far. And in the way in which, I'll talk about more of this in the longer video I put out in the next couple of days, is just we're getting good trades and then wait. One good trade, wait. And then like a mediocre but like decent trade that's worth putting a little bit of risk on. And then wait. Right? For the whole month of January, that's kind of been the theme. Or it's market doesn't really give us what we're looking for in the morning. You got to wait until the afternoon, and then all of a sudden the afternoon move just ends up happening, right? And we can see this time and time again over and over. We've been talking about it inside of the Discord and everything else as well as a real possibility. So I want to kind of put some more of those thoughts and things in which I'm seeing into place and ultimately, kind of what that might or might not mean for this year. But I do have to say it has been a relatively weird earnings season so far. And with respect to that, the last thing in which I will leave this on here for tomorrow, going into tomorrow here, is just going to be these two levels right here. So we've got 487.34s, and then we've got 482.90s here for the SPY. I'm open to longs. I'm open to shorts. We got to get up through 487.34s for longs. We got to get through 482.90s for shorts here. And that's basically the same thing here coming out of the Nasdaq. Once we get up through 17,441.75s, then longs are potentially on the table. But again, there's still, this 16,950, 650s are down here to go. Now, last and final thought here, FOMC is famous, absolutely famous, for reversing the Wednesday move on Thursday. So I'm not going to be totally surprised if we come in and Nasdaq is gapping up over that 17,441.75 level tomorrow, and then we rip up and tag those 17,763s, right? This is the thing about potential trend change areas, which we may or may not be in, is that they have a lot of room one way or the other, and they're trying to figure out ultimately which way they want to move. So keep that in mind. Don't get married to any one position. Respect your stops. Manage your risk accordingly. And we'll get through this year. We're kicking off a new month tomorrow. First trading day of a new month here. Kind of crazy that January for 2024 is like already over. And probably half the population or greater than half the population that set out for New Year's resolutions have already just squashed those. So anyways, hopefully that's not you and you're sticking to those if you did put some together in your goals and your plans, and we'll get through this year. So thank you guys so much as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.